I know that there's a couple things we're going to go over tonight, so let's just go ahead and I'll just kick it on over to you. David, Mr. Williams.
David's fine. Thank you. Thanks, Chair Tyler. Pleased to be here with you today as part of the Teaching and Learning Committee presentation. I know you all have several committee meetings and then a full board meeting tonight, so thank you for the opportunity to go ahead and get started. David Williams, Executive Officer, Teaching and Learning. The main presenters, their names are on the slide today. Jessica Slayton, she's our Director of Mathematics, and then Molly Hegwood, she's our Executive Director for the Office of English Learners. Quick note, you guys do have a copy of the presentation there. I just wanted to point out that that version did not get the slide numbers printed on it, but the slide numbers are on the screen just in case when you ask questions, you can refer back to, make those as you go. This will serve as slide 1. And then this is slide 2. But we have a very straightforward agenda there. We're going to talk about the mathematics adoption process. Again, we've been running the process for several months now, but as we get into later in the spring, we will bring the work of those committees to you for a recommendation for the board to consider for adoption. And also we have the WIDA Access Assessment that's coming up starting in February 13th. And Molly's going to talk about not just that assessment and its importance, but how we're providing supports to our schools, students, and teachers to ensure their success overall. And then, Chair Tyler, I'll pass it back over to you to facilitate questions and discussion. So throughout both presentations, you will notice critical connections to each of our 4 core tenets. Providing support to our schools and students, empowering our educators to serve students with quality learning experiences, all while ensuring equitable access to rigorous content for all students. Certainly with the math adoption, we'll be focusing support the numeracy outcome, and certainly a key priority of the EL office is to support the literacy development of our English learners, but also supports for other content areas. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Jessica Slayton again, Director of Mathematics.
Thank you, Dr. Williams, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here this afternoon to talk to you. I am immensely proud of the process and the great work that our review committee has engaged in and is continuing to engage in, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to share this process, which I believe is one of, if not the strongest in the state, with you this afternoon. So as I progress, I'm going to share our goals for the adoption and highlight some of the major work that has been done to ensure our process results in high-quality instructional materials for the teachers and students of MNPS. Our first goal is that the process will be fair, transparent, rigorous, and aligned to all state laws and district policies and procedures. The image that you see there on the slide shows the 3 main components of the Tennessee textbook adoption process and the different codes and policies that govern the process. That first component on the left is the standards review. That standards review happens on a 6-year cycle, and it is completed by educators from across the state. It's informed by public comment. I'm happy to say that I served on the high school revision committee. This work concluded in early 2020 and then was approved by the state board. The revised standards were then given to publishers so that they could design materials that were aligned to the revised Tennessee standards so that we could have a strong set of materials adopted by districts across the state. So the state then transitioned to that second portion there, the state textbook review, which was again conducted by educators from across the state. And we had 2 MNPS representatives on the state committees, one on the middle school committee and one on the high school committee. That state review then concludes with the state board publishing a list of approved materials. And then things are turned over to the local level, which you see there on the far right. Each district conducts their own review process so that they can select materials to adopt. And that selection can come either from the approved state list, or districts can apply for a waiver from the state board if they find different instructional materials that they would like to adopt. This information about the different codes and policies and the process has been shared with principals, numeracy coaches, our review committee, and a video detailing the whole process was published on our SharePoint so that all teachers would have access to the process and understand how it is conducted throughout the state, and then also what their role might be in the process as well. This is our internal process for adoption. We started the process in October of 2021, so almost a year and a half ago. We established weekly meetings that were focused solely on math materials adoption. And we conducted interviews of key stakeholders across the district to see what their perceived needs were when we were embarking upon the adoption process. We interviewed teachers from each tier level and across the district, principals from each tier level across the district, and also key support hub personnel as well. So we could get varied perspectives about what the needs were when we were looking at new materials. We also issued an RFP for technical support, and that resulted in a partnership with EdReports, which is an independent organization which reviews instructional materials and publishes those reviews to support adoption processes across the country. EdReports helped us establish the rest of our process that you see there on the screen and provided guidance to inform the full process. When we transitioned into the Develop Your Lens phase, EdReports co-developed and co-facilitated training for our committee members, and they supported the rubric development process, which I'll talk about a little bit later. This supported our committees to know what materials were available to them and then winnow the choices down to 3 sets of materials that they would be doing a deep dive review. They started that deep dive, which it is referred to as Investigate the Materials here, earlier this month, and will continue that deep study of the materials until March when they will make their recommendation. So that decision will be made, and then our work transitions into preparing to launch the materials for our teachers and students. Our second goal is that the review will be unbiased and guided by the unique learning needs of MNPS students and families. As I mentioned earlier, Tennessee conducted a review of the materials and they published a list. Their primary concern in their review was alignment to the state standards, which is foundational, so important. But it is not the only consideration. Our district is unique. It's different from many of the districts across Tennessee, and we needed our committees to be able to dig deeper into the materials to make sure that they would meet the needs of our students and families. As an example, the Tennessee rubric that was used to review materials only included one indicator that specifically spoke to how the materials would support English learners. That is just not sufficient when you think about our student population. So we developed a rubric that is more rigorous than the state rubric to review the materials for our local adoption process. We started with the state rubric from the Tennessee Department of Education, and we also brought forth a review rubric from the English Learner Success Forum, which was focused on supporting diverse populations to access grade level content. Those 2 rubrics were given to a variety of different stakeholders for input. The Office of English Learners and Curriculum and Instruction worked closely together to determine which aspects of each rubric should then make it onto our MNPS rubric. And we sought both input and feedback from our Adoption Advisory Council and surveying all teachers during in-service in August to see what their priorities were considering the math materials. That resulted in our final rubric, which has 30 indicators organized into 3 categories: ambitious pedagogy, equitable pedagogy, and SEL integrative pedagogy. So it's aligned to our instructional framework in MNPS. Our third goal is that there would be multiple opportunities for a variety of stakeholders to provide voice and guidance to the process. In the center there, you see our Materials Review Committee, and they are the most visible group. They're the ones reviewing and scoring the materials, and they will provide a recommendation to you on what materials to adopt. That group is comprised solely of core content teachers. They have to be math teachers to be on that committee. But we have a variety of others in the district who have different perspectives and different expertise that can support this adoption process. So you see there in the center bottom, we have a subcommittee facilitator for each subcommittee of our Materials Review Committee. That group is drawn from our pool of school-based numeracy coaches. Numeracy coaches can't serve on the committee, but they have great expertise in facilitating productive conversation and also content expertise that can support their teams in engaging in evidence-based review and scoring. The Teaching and Learning Department, of which I am a part, there on the top left-hand corner, our job is to ensure that the adoption process is fair, transparent, and rigorous, and that it adheres to all the laws, policies, and procedures that I've shared with you previously. On the bottom right there, the Board of Education, that's your part. Earlier, you approved the committee members of our review committee, and then later in the process, you will adopt the instructional materials based on their recommendation. On the top right, you see we have an adoption advisory panel. That group is a stakeholder group, and they represent various perspectives from around the district. We have representatives from the Learning Tech Department, from the Exceptional Ed Department, from the Office of English Learners. We have principals, executive directors, and we even have a parent representative on that committee as well. And then, of course, all the math teachers in the district. They provided input on their priorities for the rubric development and also provide public comment on the materials that are being reviewed, which is also the role that community members can play as well. They are invited to provide public comment on the materials that are being reviewed. I mentioned a number of stakeholders there. I do want to draw attention to some specific groups and how their voices have been included in the process, starting with principals. Representatives from each tier were interviewed about their priorities during the Establish the Process phase, which was in March of this year. Representatives from each tier serve on the Adoption Advisory Council, which meets quarterly, and then all principals are invited to provide feedback during public comment. That started last Tuesday and continues until Friday of this week. Teachers, when we think about their voice, we had representatives from each tier who were interviewed, which I mentioned earlier. All math teachers were invited to apply to be on the Math Materials Review Committee in April, and that was shared a number of different ways. Postings on Schoology, on SharePoint, direct email, and also newsletters that went out. All math teachers were surveyed during in-service to share their priorities for the rubric. Middle and high school math teachers had another survey to share their thoughts about materials with required online components, and that survey was conducted in November. And then all teachers are invited to provide feedback during public comment. Student voice has also been included in the process. Of course, all students and their families are invited to provide feedback during public comment, but also students of the Math Materials Review Committee members will engage in lessons from each of the 3 sets of materials that are being considered, and their interaction with the materials will help inform the selection process. Our fourth goal is that the review committee will represent a cross-section of the district. Our committee is split into 5 subcommittees, you see there on the slide. Each has their own facilitator. To be on the committee, you have to be a math teacher with at least 3 years of experience teaching in a public school. There is a maximum of 6 teachers per subcommittee, according to district policy. This map of the district shows, with the numbers on the slide there, how many representatives we have from each cluster. So you can see that we have representatives from around the city. They represent every grade level, and a number of them have special endorsements. Even though they're required to be math teachers, they might also have additional endorsements. So we have 6 members of our committee who are also EL certified. We have 1 committee member who has a special education certification, and then we have 2 members who are dual certified in EL and special education, as well as being math teachers. The years of experience of committee members ranges from 4 years to 28 years. So we have varied perspectives represented on that committee. And I believe that those diverse perspectives strengthen the process for us. Our 5th goal is that the review committee will make a recommendation to you that for materials that all MNPS math teachers will utilize in their classrooms beginning this fall. So that's how the process culminates. Here's our key timeline of events so we can recap the process. And I've mentioned many of these things previously. We established the goals in the process from October of 2021 to April of 2022. We selected the review committee in April and May of 2022, and we then engaged the committee in their initial training, which occurred over the summer. That was approximately 5 hours of virtual training that they engaged in. We finalized the committee in August once they had their final teaching assignment and location for the year. The committee then engaged in deep learning, and that was 3 full days of training during first semester that was focused on high-quality instructional materials, the needs of the district, and also the rubric that they would use to school. That rubric was also finalized in the midst of that time frame there in October of 2022. They then are engaging in that deep dive, that materials review and scoring from January until March. And they will score on the rubric and also complete a usability survey for each set of materials that once they try the lessons in their classroom, they'll have that survey as well that will inform them. And then they'll make their recommendation to you in March. So that is a summary of our process. As I wrap up today, I just want to share 3 ways that we believe that you as a board can support. First, we would appreciate if you would articulate to stakeholders the thorough, rigorous, and transparent process used, and how all of the stakeholders were represented throughout the process. We'd like you to be prepared to take action on the Math Materials Review Committee's recommendation this spring, and we ask for continued advocacy to fully fund materials adoptions for MNPS students and teachers now and in the future. Thank you so much for your time. I am now going to yield the floor to Molly Hegwood, who will share the excellent work that is being done to support our EL population across the district.
Thank you. Could we just take a beat? And before we start that, does anybody have any questions about the math review? Oh, is there a connection between the two? All right. Okay. Sorry about that.
Good. All right. Good afternoon. I'm Molly Hegwood. I'm excited to be here. I've shared some things with you before, and I'm excited to be back up and share some new things that we're doing. One piece that I think is really important that I hope that you see throughout this presentation would be that our teachers, schools, and students themselves are working so hard. And I really appreciate this opportunity to share what we're doing as an EL office, but also what is being done at the school level to make an impact every single day on our students and families. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about would be the core tenets. You'll hear the core tenets throughout the presentation. I'm going to discuss how we've collaborated across the support hub departments and our schools with the WIDA standards implementation, and with the shifts in our MTSS framework to ensure equal access for English learners in Tier 1 instruction and other tiers of instructional support. I want to start with our EL office vision. MNPS EL team will support English learners with the social, emotional, cultural, linguistic, and academic skills necessary to excel in higher education, work, and life. You see that I've highlighted linguistic and academic in red. That's where we're going to focus tonight. Linguistic and academic skills are highlighted since they are going to be integrated throughout the WIDA standards development and the MTSS continuum of supports. I have a lot to share in the next few minutes. First, I'm going to give you an overview of the MNPS English learner population. Our population has grown rapidly since I've been here last time and continued to spread across the school district. We're going to dive into the standards, talk about the big ideas and the standards framework that our teachers use every day, the access assessment that's coming soon, how we work with our content teams to integrate content and language standards in the materials that we present to students and teachers, and then also how we are ensuring equitable access to the full continuum of supports for English learners in MNPS. This is the exciting slide. MNPS currently has 18,843 active English learners. This is 21% of our school district. To help you define active English learners, those are the students that are not proficient in English yet according to the access assessment. This is a 105% increase in the EL population over the last 10 years. We have over 129 languages spoken by families in our school district and families from over 145 different countries. This next chart is one that you've seen before, but I want to ground us in where our English learners are based on the last round of assessments. This heat map shows our district success rates on achievement tests, chronic absenteeism, English language proficiency, and graduation rate, according to the accountability indicators for 2022. So this is all students. Framed in yellow, you see the English language proficiency assessment, which is access. This indicator observes K-12 students' language progress as measured by the access assessment. The language progress is based on growth standards, and those growth standards are differentiated based on the student's prior year performance. Students also must have a current and prior year access score to count in this area. I'm excited to share again that MNPS met our double AMO target for English learners on the English language proficiency assessment, and our EL population on access received the highest accountability score for 2022. We have so much to celebrate, and we must acknowledge our teachers again for the work that they're doing. So to break it down a little bit more, this heat map shows our district's success rate for the English learner student group. You will oftentimes see and hear the student group as LEP and other reports that you see, and that category includes active English learners and students that have transitioned from the program in the 4 years after transitioning. First, I want you to look at the fourth column. That is the student absolute performance. This is the percent of the subgroup that meets the defined success rate interval corresponding to 0 to 4. Since the EL student subgroup or student group includes students that are not proficient in English yet, the absolute performance on those 312 success rates can be difficult for students to meet until they're proficient. So we just really need to understand that portion and kind of shift our thinking around the growth, because as students continue to see growth, make growth, we will see that absolute performance go up. The goals, those related to growth, are kind of framed in yellow there. Finally, circled in yellow, you see our overall score of 2.67 for English learners, which means we are advancing district for our English learner student population. So as you can see from those two areas, we are continuing to make significant growth in all of our accountability areas for the English learner student group. This is really through a combination of various things, but we have worked a lot on the integration of the WIDA standards. We've focused and collaborated with the literacy department on best practices for literacy and curricula. We've had coaching and professional development with our EL teachers and content teachers, and other collaborative efforts. We just continue to grow in our EL student outcomes across the district. One thing that I don't want to leave out when it comes to the results of our English learners would be our community partners. I feel like we are so lucky as an EL office because we have great community partners that are always right by our side when we need anything. And as I speak to other districts, that's not always there. So I really have to say, like, that is a huge piece of the work that we do every single day. This map represents the concentration of EL students across the district. And I've shared this map several times in the last few years, and it always continues to change. The darker the green area, the higher the population of English learners living in that area on the county map. We have English learners enrolled in 160 of our 162 schools. Due to the cost of housing, many of our families, our newer families actually, are settling in northern Davidson County. And this is away from those strong community partners, because many of those community partners are in southeast Davidson County, and away from areas where we have teachers that have worked with English learners for a very long time. This change in population across the county has created an increased need for us as the EL office to collaborate and scale best practices that are happening in southeast Davidson County. Our team consists of 14 instructional coaches that service MNPS run schools and all charter schools. So we provide coaching support to schools in both settings. We're also constantly collaborating with schools and other support hub departments to ensure all teachers are prepared to support English learners in their classrooms. All right, so I have spoken a lot about WIDA. And WIDA, World-Class Instructional Design and Assessment, is their official name. So let's dive into how we have supporting schools with WIDA standards and this Tier 1 instruction for English learners. The state of Tennessee is actually one of 41 states that uses the WIDA standards framework for instruction. WIDA Consortium is dedicated to the research, design, and implementation of a high-quality, standards-based system for English learners. The WIDA framework is grounded, anchored in these big ideas. They support the design of standards-based educational experiences that are student-centered, culturally and linguistically sustaining, and responsive to multilingual learners' strengths and needs. You're going to hear those big ideas emphasized throughout as we talk about this anchor for our high-quality Tier 1 instruction. Okay. The next piece would be our access assessment. The window is quickly approaching. It opens in February, and it's a pretty long testing window for schools to be able to get this assessment completed. All active English learners, so those 18,843 students, will take this assessment. This assessment determines their current language proficiency and growth that they've made from prior year. It also sets that language goal piece, so we're able to determine whether they're making progress towards those language goals. The assessment is in 4 domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and it's administered in accordance with the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015. So back to that accountability slide, again, that's that ELPA indicator that was on that first heat map. So the next piece of the standards, the language development standards, would be the standards themselves. The standards are based in grade level content. So EL teachers are teaching language and content all the time. We know that our students deserve access to both grade level content and language instruction, and the WIDA standards support this concurrent development of both. Rigorous academic content and text are used in context for language learning, and language is the means to access academic content. So they work together. And students are always developing their listening, speaking, reading, writing skills in each class every single day. It's not only the EL teachers, it is all teachers using the WIDA framework to ensure that students have access to content. Just to kind of show you the complexity of this framework, this is what EL teachers are using in planning. And both EL and content teachers. And we also are looking at the students' ILPs. So they're using WIDA standards and ILPs to ensure that students have access to instruction. When our teams were working on curricula supports, they looked at these 5 standards, the key language uses, language expectations, and the proficiency level descriptors. These pieces combined work together to ensure that EL students have access to all content and they're developing language throughout the day. All right, now, how do we integrate language and content? I told you there was a lot to cover, but it's good stuff. Going back to the big ideas, one of the best practices on that slide relates to integrating language and content. In the past, EL teachers really just taught language. Now, best instructions using content and language together so that they grow together and that we're basing everything in that grade level content. The MNPS ELA and foundational skills curricula are best in class curricula, high quality, and good for English learners. So what we've done is really closely collaborated with the elementary and secondary literacy departments to build teams of EL teachers, content teachers, so those English teachers are sitting there right next to those EL teachers, and instructional coaches to work together to create linguistic scaffolds aligned to WIDA and Wit and Wisdom, and then WIDA and my perspectives, text and task. Then those supports were then vetted by the EL and ELA departments together so that we could ensure that English learners were having access to the curriculum while maintaining the complexity of the texts and the demands of the tasks. Also, as Jessica Slayton shared, we're doing something very similar with the math adoption. Once that's selected, the members of our team will work with the math team to integrate that WIDA piece if it's pieces of that need to be supplemented at all. And again, we look forward to this collaboration. We've gotten great feedback from teachers on the supports, so we look forward to doing that again with the math. So we can see that there's a heavy lift for EL teachers in their planning and collaboration with content teachers. So we try to provide them with as much coaching and professional learning that they need in order to do this. We have the 14 coaches that are district-based, and they support all schools. No matter the size of the school's EL population, a coach is available for them. And their coach will support them in planning, instruction, delivering professional development, whatever that school needs based on the population that they serve. So it's essential that we pair the high quality curriculum supports with coaching and professional learning in order to develop and help teachers with the implementation. Since we do have a small coaching team, we've worked really hard to build the capacity of the other district coaches. The ELA coaches, the math coaches, the EE coaches, building level coaches, and EL teachers to also lead this work at their school level. We've created professional development pathways as well. We have those for content teachers, EL teachers, administrators, and counselors, where they have a personalized professional development pathway that they can go through if they would like to do that alone or at their school level. We've also created tailored pathways specific to this integration with Wit and Wisdom and My Perspectives. And we created those pathways, and we're presenting those pathways alongside the content team. So really trying to show schools about this integration, that it's not just the EL office saying one thing and the ELA team saying another. We're doing that together to model that collaboration that also needs to happen at the school level. Our district EL coaches also hold PLCs at the school level on the WIDA standards and the content integration so that we can really look at student work and analyze their language progress. Finally, one piece that we did in the sense of the curriculum supports is on the August 4th Professional Development Day. We had every EL teacher go through a session learning how to utilize the supports, where to find the supports, what that looked like in planning, and then if any additional follow-up was needed, we were able to set them up at the beginning of the year for that support. Okay. Tier 1, now we move into the full continuum of supports for English learners. As we've discussed, and it really shows in the content collaboration with the curricula, we have worked to ensure English learners have access to high-quality Tier 1 instruction and also the continuum of supports. As a district, we must ensure that we're meeting the civil rights of English learners and the child find obligations by ensuring that they have access to any interventions that they need. We're continuing to really reflect on this and make improvements along the way so that schools feel comfortable making these database decisions for students. Through a continuous improvement process, we reflected and we're continuing to improve on our MTSS processes for students, for all students, but particularly our English learners. In collaboration with the MTSS and EE departments, we're equipping schools with the tools necessary to make these decisions, these best decisions for students. Together with MTSS and the EE teams, we ensure that we have a culturally and linguistically responsive MTSS process, and that school teams are equipped to make these data-based decisions for EL students. All students have access to high-quality Tier 1 instruction, along with all tiered supports during PLT. We're also working closely with our school-based MTSS teams and data teams to consider language proficiency when determining the best placement for students during PLT to ensure that students have this access to all supports. This access to tiered supports is critical for EL students. We welcome new students at different points in their educational career every day. When students enter in later elementary, middle, or high school, there may be foundational skills gaps. The way that we've set this up with systematic and explicit interventions with language supports during PLT, this allows students to access high-quality Tier 1 instruction and the supports needed through explicit interventions. Going back, though, to equipping schools with the tools to make these decisions on an individual student database that is key to accessing all the supports. I wanted to kind of highlight what this looks like at the school level. Every student is different, and school teams have to decide what does that best placement look like for them. So this is an example of an 8th grade student. The student has an English language proficiency level of a 2.5. The scale for to testing proficient is you have to get to a 4.4. So entering sort of level of proficiency. And the student has been in school for 2 years. Previously, before we started really reflecting on this process, many times we would have automatically placed the student in additional language support time during PLT and said, you know, we're just going to give them more language time because they probably need that the most. We've really reflecting and trying to move towards examining multiple sources of data for the students to ensure that if the student needs an intervention, they have access to that intervention, and they have EL services at a different time during the day. This has really made it so that we can look at each student and make a decision based on that individual student and not based on a group of students. One piece that I forgot to mention on the individual student side would be the training part of this. We had to do a good bit of training during our MTSS network trainings to ensure that our school teams were equipped to make this decision. It's somewhat of a mindset shift, somewhat of like we need to get the right information in front of everyone. So that was, again, another collaboration with the MTSS department and the EE department to deliver those pieces together. Because there's a lot of stakeholders that are sitting in those database meetings, and all of them need to understand the why behind the potential shift in the PLT placement. So we worked with EE coaches, school psychologists, our own EL coaches, and other service providers to ensure that we were able to deliver the full continuum of support, and schools were not picking between the two. We also created PD pathways where schools or teachers could go deeper so they can understand how the IEP and the ILP work together, and then also how schools can understand how to separate difference from disabilities. And that's always a conversation of understanding whether this is a language-based need or could it be something else. And so we've recently developed a pathway of learning on that. And this is our final piece. And so we also are working at the school level to make sure schools feel comfortable with those placements. Schedules and structures are set up to make sure that we can make sure all students have things that they need. We are providing training, that's collaborative training across all departments around the academic interventions. And we have a new English language proficiency software that we just started this year that has gone very well, that we're very excited about and can want to continue to sustain. And I'll end with this. How can you support us? Continue to advocate for fully funding the supports for our growing EL population. This includes teachers, translators, coaches, and increased high school support. We want to continue to advocate for community support outside of just our community partners. Other community members really need to know about this population of students that is amazing and really showing the district how to do it. And also just continue to share and elevate the academic and linguistic talents of our individual EL students. Thank you.
Very much. I appreciate that. It was very thorough. So I guess I'm going to open up the floor for anybody who has questions. I do. Go ahead. Ready?
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your presentation, and also Ms. Slayton, your presentation. I just want to say before I start asking questions, Ms. Slayton was my daughter who's 29's high school teacher, and she inspired her to go into the sciences and mathematics. Amazing teacher and doing amazing work at the district. So. She was also my colleague at Antioch High School, so we also worked together. So I've known her for a really long time and really, really continue to be amazed at the work that she does. Also within the EL department, for those that don't know, our EL department, as small as it is, does a lot of work, not only in Metro Nashville public schools, but within our charter schools and also in our private schools as well. As a private school principal, we did a lot of work in collaboration with our EL department to service students within our schools as well. And so just know that you all are doing some amazing work across the community to serve EL students in every capacity, and we really need to look at building your department. Hint, hint. So I just want to put that out there. So I do have a few questions related to mathematics, and well, since you're up here for EL, I'll start with EL, and then we'll hit on mathematics if that's okay. I do have some questions around our EL population and their opportunity to go into advanced academics. Oftentimes, because of their limited English proficiency, it often prohibits them in many ways from going into advanced academic courses that they may have been in prior to coming to our school system. So how are we working to ensure that they have opportunity and access into advanced academic courses?
Great question. I wish Matt was here because he could talk all about this. But ultimately, we're doing very similar work with them as we are all other departments, starting with training those gifted and talented teachers around what does that look like in the classroom to meet the needs of a multilingual learner, and how to identify potentially gifted and talented students in a different way. I do know that there's been some work done around the assessment and screening process, but we'll have to get back to you on that one because I don't know all the details around that.
Okay, thank you.
And one kind of kudos and shout out to our teaching and learning team. While they all have very specific roles and expertise, they do a fabulous job of collaborating with one another. And I mean, in everything that they do, we talked about the textbook adoption process, that to professional learning, to, you know, the walkthroughs and just sharing of information. So they are definitely a model for this country around the types of collaborations and structures that can be shared across multiple departments.
Thank you. My second question is within the EL department. We have newcomers that have limited English proficiency, and then we have students who are born in the United States or even here in Nashville that are also part of our EL department that test into our EL department. How have we, is there any data around how students are performing in that tier 1, tier 2 native born versus migrating?
You can see me thinking on this one.
Yeah.
This is a tricky question because we don't really track
The
students,
difference.
like where they were born, and we don't we don't highlight that data as much because we don't track their immigration status or entry into the country. There's more data around length in the program and when they started school. And so
Okay.
you could potentially look at that and make some projections, I would say, but ultimately, U.S. born versus and been here versus out of country, we don't have that specific data.
Got it. Okay. And then, let's see, wait. So you had alluded to the collaboration between your EL coaches with coaches across our district, working to implement the ILPs, both within the classroom as well as supporting teachers outside of the classroom around the integration of EL. I know a few years ago we had a grant that helped to certify or get endorsements for more EL teachers within our schools. Is there any more work being done for that level of endorsement? And our coaches, are most of our coaches, whether they're EL, math, ELA, any area, are they working to get any type of endorsement so that they can, as they integrate and work with students across subject levels, can support?
I'm happy to, just for, because I know we have other questions as well.
Sorry.
But those types of partnerships are continuing to expand. In fact, in the spiral that went to our school teams for ESSER funding, one of the most leveraged strategies was expanding in this way to allow for teachers to obtain those additional endorsements and for the supports within their schools or in their community, kind of bringing those supports and programs to them. So we've seen actually a pretty tremendous increase in access to those endorsement programs.
Awesome. And then my final question, sorry, around resources when we look at the math adoptions and future adoptions. When we're looking at resources for students, not necessarily textbook, but those resources that go home with students, I know we're doing cross collaboration with that, but are we looking at those resources as well for our EL and our SPED ed populations that will support them in those particular subgroups?
Yes, yes. I mean, that's definitely part of the process that they're using. And
Okay.
when materials are selected, and they're always looking at, is there anything additional needed for those subgroups? Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any questions?
That was the, yes.
Yes, that was your, thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
I just, a couple of questions. So what you were talking, Molly, about the number of instructional coaches across the district is 14, but you've done some training with instructional coaches in schools. So that's so each of those instructional coaches would be dealing with something like more than 10 schools apiece, right? I mean, if you had just averaged it out over the number of schools you're talking about, that's a lot of schools that they're working with.
So they're placed based on percentage of English learners.
Okay.
So we try to make sure that every coach is responsible for the same percentage, number of EL students.
Uh-huh.
So one coach may have 15 while another one has 2.
Got it.
But their number of student impacted is the same, similar.
So if you're a teacher in a classroom at a school and you don't have EL certification and you've maybe gotten a little bit of training, but you're struggling with a student or a couple of students in your class, what are the resources you can go to at the school? And then how do principals know what to look for in terms of strong EL instruction as they're doing walkthroughs and that kind of thing?
So I'll start with your first question around what would a teacher do. That would be, some of them might reach out to their EL coach, others might reach out to their literacy coach or their instructional coach. I think the key thing that we've really decided to do as a literacy, let's say it's a literacy need, an EL, we try to go into those conversations together so that you're building the capacity of both coaches to be able to have that conversation when the other one leaves. The goal is that we build up that literacy coach with the knowledge to be able to answer those questions, or the instructional coach or the math coach, so that the EL coach can step back a little bit and then just go deeper when needed, because that team is so small. But that collaboration is what you will see in the response for that teacher, so that we can build both sides. Principal side, I think we've talked about the collaborative presentations. So as you see various presentations rolled out from the math team, the ELA team, the science team, there's going to be the layer of EL and EE in there, so that they have that lens when they're learning new content. And we've really shifted toward that integrated model of delivering information, so that you're not learning in this one lane, and so that principals are equipped to look for those things based on the content they've learned.
Can you go back? I think it's slide 27. It's just the data slide in
Yes,
here. Just
the all students heat map or the EL students heat lab.
EL students heat map. I basically was just sort of wondering the difference between the AMO and the growth, which are the success rates 3 through 12? Do you know, based on TCAP or ALPA?
Me, sorry. Sorry. Like, who's going to change it back? That would be me. All right, my bad. All right, so
I'm sort of wondering because and this may, Dr. Battle, this might be a question you can answer, but the AMOs on the success rates, those are lower, right? But then we see higher scores on AMOs for out of school and ELP, and then it's sort of flip-flopped on the value added. And I'm just wondering a little bit, that's growth on value added on TCAP, and then the remainder is sort of looking at some of the external factors. I'm trying to pinpoint, like, what are the big things we need to be working on? Is it all of the above? Are we more focused on the sort of standards, or more focused on English language growth? It might not be a great
Well, I
question.
think it goes back to what Molly explained earlier, where we're seeing a gap in the absolute AMO, meaning the achievement of the students versus the growth.
Right.
And if we continue to grow students based upon their English language proficiency, and not just, as Molly described, when they came in and how that associates to a number on a chart, but more so using multiple forms of data, then that's what's going to ultimately move those measures. So we want to see growth continue to increase, which will have a direct impact on the absolute AMO.
Yeah, right. So the sort of the ELP AMO being high and that value added being a little bit lower is what we should is what we might expect, given that that's what they're coming in with, and the other is how they're growing in terms of standard.
Right, and I won't take Molly's exact words, but just can you repeat what you said about just the expectation given the language proficiency and how that might translate into a higher AMO, specifically around achievement?
When you look at that one, just in particular, like the 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, that's going to be an English learner taking the TN Ready math and ELA,
Right.
and looking at them in this cut score, right, and whether they're meeting that percentage band. And so it really, as students grow in their English language proficiency, they're going to begin to achieve higher. So we won't really expect those until a student is more proficient in English for them to be able to really show in the absolute performance area.
Is that helpful?
And the hope is that those value-added goals will end up showing up at some point as higher levels on the success rates.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Yes, Ms. Masters?
So I'm looking for the percentage of, you may know this off the top of your head, the percentage of English language learners in K through 12 schools statewide. I found a number, it was hovering just below 5% in 2016. And I'm thinking about the comparison between statewide versus we're edging towards a quarter of our students being English language learners, and just sort of wondering what we can do with our advocacy at the state level to help build understanding around what we need to support these learners, since it doesn't appear to be sort of a statewide concern. So yeah, just kind of wondering from our position as advocates for the district what we might focus on.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I just wanted to make a point that Jessica made. The reason that we had to go back and look at that rubric and make sure that it did account for the uniqueness of MNPS. And so I just wanted to highlight that. She said that early on in her presentation that we can't look at it for standards alone. We have to look at it for access for our students and what supports will be required of us as a district to meet that need. But I think it speaks to your very question. The reason that you might see that narrow focus is because of the small representation of English language learners across the state, as opposed to specifically in Metro Nashville Public Schools. But Molly, if you want to add any additional context or data to that.
Absolutely. I don't know the overall percentage for the state. I do know that we have held pretty steady on, we hold a third of the state's EL population. And so everybody's been growing, but really we have by far the most students. I think when you talk about advocacy at the state level, we really just need to elevate and share our story, what our students' story, their academic outcomes, looking at our valedictorians and salutatorians and where our students come from. I think that we need to do a better job sharing that narrative so people have a better understanding of our students and who they are and what they're going through, and yet where they all end up at the end.
And if I could just give a caution, because typically when we do kind of student comparisons, particularly around size, we go to Shelby County. This is definitely a differentiator in the uniqueness of MNPS from Shelby.
I appreciate that. I just, this is almost 25. We're edging towards 25. Like, this is not a niche population. Like, this is a huge population of our students, and something we're just going to have to be mindful of in absolutely everything that we do. So yeah, I have concern about how we share that message, but I appreciate that.
I know we're running up on our time, but I had a few questions I'd like to ask, unless there's any other questions anybody else has. Okay. So my questions are a little bit more practical. I think that the integration that you guys have done is exactly what is needed, and I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to think about how do we actually meet the needs of these kids, because learning doesn't happen in a silo, and it doesn't happen that way for English-speaking kids, and so it certainly doesn't happen that way for non-English-speaking kids. So I think that's extremely important. I've heard from many, many EL teachers that they have been very pleased with the integration into the MTSS system so that our students are being able to go to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 groups when they need it. I've also heard, though, that in some schools where they have a really high EL population, that's caused their Tier 3 groups to really balloon because there are so many more students who are now in there that are EL students specifically, and because that tier is supposed to be, I think, like 12 students and less. I mean, it's supposed to be a very specific small group instruction. How are we making sure that we're meeting the requirements for group sizes and we're not taking anything away from our Tier 1 or Tier 2 students? And how are we supporting these schools that have the higher population and are really seeing these groups balloon?
I'm going to do what I would do if I get that question from a school, and I would not tackle it alone because we would need to come in together. So I would probably bring someone else, and because Katie and I, or the MTSS coach and the EL coach, would go to the school and help them map this out. So I think either David or Katie, if you want to answer the group size question.
Thanks for saying that. I do think it comes down to working with the individual school, really looking at, in particular, how we're scheduling our personalized learning time, and so that it can be all hands on deck per grade level, right? And concentrate, based on level of intensity needed, smaller groups as much as possible. I think we also have some increased flexibility now with some of the intervention programs that we're using. Some of the blended learning platforms that are in use do allow a little bit more flexibility for group size because they're blended, and so we're having a combination of even more individualized direct instruction, but also there's that adaptive component, so students can be and need to be working in the platform. They need both, right? So there is some more opportunity for some flexibility with that. But yeah, I think it really is a case-by-case basis, looking at data in teams, and then really working to figure out how to best support through an all-hands-on-deck approach during that personalized learning time block.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The amazing Chris Henson just sent me 8% EL statewide. So it's just an important comparison for us to keep in mind.
And then I know you kind of touched on it a little bit. I had a question. The English language proficiency software, what is that exactly? Can you give me a little bit more information?
That is Lexia English.
Okay.
We put out an RFP to find a software that students could use, an additional tool for English language acquisition, and it is part of the Lexia suite. So students can actually use both, but it's really targeted towards the WIDA standards, and it's focusing in on students where they are with their language development. And we're in our first year. We
Okay.
just started in August.
Okay, I'd love to hear how that goes. I mean, it sounds like it's kind of new. I've heard some really good things about the SPIRE program, but I know that is being purchased individually by different schools using maybe Title I funds or something else. And I've heard that has been a particular choice because of the extra kind of basic skill screeners that it provides for those kids, so that the screener is making a difference for those EL students who can't read, because it gives that teacher that immediate and specific information that they can use to create a support plan for that student. So I would just like to see how those two kind of stack up to each other, because I've heard so many good things about this particular one, but I also know it's, hopefully, well, okay. And then Trying to move us forward quickly. I know we're running a few minutes behind. The most important one, I think, is this kind of larger piece of being out in the community with our families and making sure they understand it. So I'd just really like to hear a little bit more about how we're ensuring that all of our EL families are getting information from the district. What are we doing to ensure that we're meeting their needs and that we're making sure that they understand the information that we're passing along?
We actually are really lucky because we have expanded our translation and interpretation team. So we actually have now an on-demand interpretation service that families and schools can use anytime. I mean, 10 o'clock at night, the school needs to call a parent. They can pick that up and access that, and that's funded through ESSER. So in combination with our in-person, we have 57 people on our parent outreach translator team. And they're working on district-level communication and school-based communication. And then we have the supplemental piece. We're making great strides in that area. Ultimately, we want to be able to have bilateral conversations with our families so that families can, in the same time, be able to communicate and share needs as well. So with those two together, we're going to get there. But we really do have a strong support system in place right now.
And this was the area, and during last year's operational budget, if I'm not mistaken, we did expand our translation services, and we've enhanced the supplemental services as well, so that you almost have the 24-hour a day access to translation and support in general communications, but also answering questions and just being responsive to the needs of the families.
Okay, so the one that's the kind of more 24-hour, is that like a computer program, or are those actual people that we're connecting with?
It's great. I love it. I use it all the time. If you call the number, they ask you what you need. Do you need to dial out? Do you need a live in-person meeting? What language do you need? There's hundreds of languages on there. You click the button, and the person gets on the phone with you, and they're there.
Do our transportation bus drivers, are they also able to access this? I know that that's also been because they have a schedule they have to keep. They don't have time to stop for really long, but we want to make sure that if there's a concern that it's being heard on both ends,
Yes.
from the family and the bus driver.
We actually have distributed those flyers to them. They do have access. A lot of times we're also communicating with them through our office because some of those calls need to be individual so the family really understands, but they do have access to that service.
Okay.
And
And
this
does
also
that require
includes-
training at all, or is it just you call?
No, it's pretty intuitive.
Okay.
And this also includes some expansion and kind of organization with our Family Information Center as well, which we all know has been fabulous in responding to parents' needs and feedback.
In all my questions. The last question I have is, I like that we are integrating our EL students more into the regular classroom. We're making sure that they're getting the grade level instruction as well as the pull-out EL instruction for extra things. But sometimes we've heard some concerns about new students who might arrive in a middle school grade or older who don't have even foundational skills in reading, and the grade level material doesn't give them access to foundational skills because it's beyond that. They're in sixth grade or seventh grade at that point, so they're not looking at those very basic, what letters are these, what sounds do they make, how do we look at our sight words, those kinds of things. So what do we do when we have a student who needs those basic foundational skills, but they're out of elementary school, and so how do we support them?
This happens a lot, and so that's why we really have to stick to our personalized learning time structure, and that is really important so that we can have those tier 1 instructional, your access to ELA and math, grade level content during that part, and then during PLT, you may be in an intervention group that is tackling some of those foundational skills gaps that you need.
And this is something that I've observed, and particularly several of our middle schools, where they're leveraging the PLT for exactly that. They've structured their day where the PLT might happen right before the Tier 1 instruction class. They're front-loading. They're thinking about those foundational skills so the students have access when they're into the classroom. Just yesterday at JFK, I saw that happen and transition PLT into the Tier 1 class. Teacher came in, so there was a slight pull-out for PLT, but a push-in for the Tier 1 instruction. and it was a beautiful experience, a successful experience for the students who were equipped not only with the front loading and the foundational skills, but also their support and their teacher being side by side with them. So that's something that I appreciate from our teaching and learning team, supporting school teams on that design and the flexibility around how to leverage PLT in conjunction with Tier 1 instruction.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I know we've run over a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and cut us off here. But thank you so much for both of you for coming up and speaking so clearly and so detailed about how much care and effort and thought we're putting into how we both choose our curriculum and take care of our students who have different needs.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Ms. Tyler. If we can just give our teaching and learning team another round of applause for their great work. Shout out to our teachers and students who are making it happen every day. Thank you.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you. We are going to go